Man, it finally happened. We got our first look at the three newest Eagles taking the field in that classic midnight green for the very first time at the NovaCare complex, and the energy was unreal. You could just feel it through the clips, through the sound bites, through every smile on those players' faces. It's one of those days that reminds you why this city loves football the way it does. But while everyone was glued to the practice field, Howie Roseman was out here doing what he does best, making a sneaky roster move that a lot of fans might have completely forgotten about. And trust me, this one could end up matching a whole lot more than people think. Let's start with the vibe around the new guys, because man, Jalen Phillips could not stop smiling. I've never seen a player this happy to be traded to a new team. He said it himself, this is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened in his life. And you can tell he's not just saying that for the cameras. The guy looks like he's been walking around Philly with a permanent grin since he landed. He's talking about how awesome the city's been, how the locker room feels like home, how he's getting 20 times more love on Instagram than he ever got before. Philly fans really rolled out the green carpet for him. That's the kind of energy that tells you this dude is ready to work. The first full practice after the bye felt like a reset for the whole roster. 6 wins, 2 losses, right in the middle of the season, and the timing couldn't have been better. Everyone got a chance to heal up, review what's working, and lock in on what needs tightening. The fresh faces in midnight green were the headline, but behind the scenes, Howie was already pulling the next chess move. Before practice even started, the Eagles officially opened the practice window for guard and center Willie Lampkin. And yeah, I know some people probably went, wait, who? But this move shows exactly how this front office thinks ahead. See, before the trade deadline, a lot of fans wanted Howie to grab another offensive lineman. Not necessarily a big-name starter, just some depth, someone who could step in if injuries started stacking up. But he stayed quiet. No flashy trade, no panic move. Turns out, he didn't need one. Lampkin was already on his way back from injury reserve. This kid was originally drafted by the Rams, had a strong preseason, and then got hurt. The Rams thought they were being clever when they waived him, planning to bring him back quietly to the practice squad. But Howie swooped in, saw the potential, and claimed him off waivers before anyone else could. 31 teams passed, and the Eagles grabbed him right at the end. Rams fans were fuming, and honestly, that tells you everything you need to know. Now, Lampkin's not coming in to take anyone's job right away. The smart play is to let him sit behind Jeff Stoutland's line, learn the system, and grow under one of the best offensive line coaches in football. But if the time comes, and someone goes down, this kid could be ready faster than people think. Meanwhile, the injury report brought some interesting updates. Cam Jurgens sat out with a knee issue, which is definitely something to monitor. Adoree Jackson and Moro Ojomo were limited with concussions, but the rest of the list looked pretty solid. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Nolan Smith, all full participants. Things are trending in the right direction. Speaking of A.J. Brown, man, this dude just can't stay out of the headlines, even when he's not trying to. The media's been tossing him some wild questions lately, and Devonta Smith finally had enough. Reporters asking about play calls, routes, even whether AJ still wants to be in Philly, and Devonta shut that down quick. "I'm not a coach," he said. "Ask me about the game, I'll talk about the game." You could see the frustration in his face when someone asked if AJ even wants to stay in Philly. His response said it all. Has he said anything about not wanting to be here? The man's tired of the drama, and honestly, who can blame him? The offense is humming, the chemistry is there, and AJ's been one of the top wideouts in football since he got here. The media just loves to stir the pot, and the players are clearly done playing along. Now, while all that was going on, Jaire Alexander had his own set of moments that made waves. His first day back with Christian Parker, his old coach, and the two of them are already thick as thieves again. Jaire said they've been meeting 5 times a day since he got here. 5 times. That's the kind of dedication you want to see from a guy who's looking to bounce back. He talked about feeling healthy, confident, ready to lead again. Said he's bringing energy, swagger, and leadership to this secondary, all the things Philly fans crave. You can tell he's learned a lot, too. When reporters asked what he took away from his time being one of the league's best corners to where he is now, his answer was humble and real. He said he's learned how quickly things can change, and that it's important to help the younger guys coming up. He mentioned Quinnen Mitchell and Cooper DeJean by name, calling them talented already, and saying he just wants to help however he can. That's the kind of talk that earns instant respect in a locker room. You can have swagger and still be a teacher, and Jair's showing both sides now. He even said this deal had been in the works for a while, which tells you the Eagles wanted him bad. And when asked if he's still that player from his Green Bay days, he didn't hesitate. "I don't have no doubts," he said, plain and simple. The confidence is still there, but it's tempered by a sense of perspective. He admitted that when he first came back from his injury, he wasn't all the way right. Missed OTAs, didn't have that football speed built up. But now, "This is the best I've felt," he said. That's a scary thought for opposing receivers. If he's even 85% of what he used to be, this secondary just leveled up in a big way. And get this, Jair's got Philly roots. Born in Jefferson Hospital, raised an Eagles fan, mom's been repping the team even while he was in Green Bay. You can't write a better story than that. A hometown kid coming back to play for the team he grew up watching? We've seen what that kind of motivation can do. Just look at Haason Reddick when he came home. It hits different when you're playing for your city. Meanwhile, Jaelan Phillips isn't just excited. He's fired up for all the right reasons. When asked why Philly felt like the perfect place for him right now, he pointed to everything that makes this team special. A talented roster, a strong defensive culture, a scheme that fits him perfectly, and the chance to compete for another Super Bowl. He said he feels blessed to be part of it, and you could hear the sincerity in his voice. He's not chasing numbers, he's chasing wins. And that's exactly the kind of mindset that thrives in this locker room. Even Jalen Hurts smiled when reporters told him what Phillips said, that getting traded here was the greatest thing to ever happen to him. Hurts, in his calm, measured tone, said those were hard words, but he understood the excitement. He knows what's being built here. He knows players around the league see the Eagles as that destination, the place you go when you want to compete, when you want to grow, when you want to win. And then there's Michael Carter II, the quiet new addition who's just soaking it all in. He said, "Everyone's been super welcoming, that the environment's tight-knit and driven. He's learning, adjusting, and fitting right into that culture of accountability and support that defines this team. You can tell he's grateful just to be part of it. There's something special about this group. You can sense the mix of veterans and young talent, the hunger from guys like Jair trying to reclaim their top form, the enthusiasm from rookies and newcomers who can't believe they're wearing midnight green. Every season has its turning point, that moment where the energy shifts and everything starts clicking. Watching that first post-bye practice, listening to these players talk, it really feels like that moment might be happening right now in Philly. The momentum around the Eagles right now just feels different. You can tell the locker room is alive in a way it hasn't been since the start of the season. That bye week was like a deep breath for everyone, a moment to heal, reset, and remember who they are. You can see it in the way guys are talking, the way they're practicing, the way the energy has shifted. The leaders are smiling, the young players are listening, and the veterans are already setting the tone for what's coming in the second half of the year. One thing that stands out the most is how connected this team seems to be off the field. It's not just about drills or playbooks. It's the way they talk about one another, with respect, humor, and belief. Jair Alexander called A.J. Brown his brother, and A.J. fired back with that playful line calling Jair his son. Fans loved it. The internet had its laughs, but the truth behind it says a lot. There's mutual respect there, that healthy mix of competition and camaraderie that pushes great players to stay sharp. When you have guys who can talk like that, battle it out on the field, and still lift each other up afterward, you've got something special brewing. Jair's energy feels contagious, and it's spilling into the defensive unit fast. Christian Parker's been glued to him since day one, going over technique, film, and footwork like they're rebuilding a masterpiece from scratch. You can tell both men know exactly what the other expects. It's like they picked up right where they left off. That's the kind of chemistry that can turn an already solid defense into something dominant. The Eagles' secondary has been looking for that combination of swagger and discipline, and Jair brings both. He said he wants to bring energy, leadership, and swag. And if you watched him in Green Bay at his peak, you know that's not just talk. That's his identity. But it's not only about defense. The offense is buzzing again, too. Jalen Hurts has that quiet confidence that always shows up when the stakes get higher. You could hear it in the way he talked about the new additions. He didn't go overboard with praise. He just acknowledged that everyone here understands the standard and what it takes to reach it. That's the core of what makes Hurts such a powerful leader. He's not yelling or boasting. He's steady, focused, and already planning for what's next. Players feel that. When your quarterback leads like that, it gives everyone else permission to be locked in without the noise. And speaking of noise, the Philly media's been loud lately. Questions about A.J. Brown's attitude, his relationship with the team, his happiness, and every time, the answers keep proving the same point. The locker room isn't divided. The guys aren't worried about drama. Devonta Smith's reaction said everything. The focus is football. He knows the real story isn't about some imaginary tension. It's about what's happening between the lines. When the lights come on, this group produces. They're physical, creative, and still finding ways to get better each week. That's why the new faces feel so important right now. Jalen Phillips talked about how every piece of this team fits, from the defensive line to the secondary. He's joining a unit that already knows how to win, and that's the best possible environment for a player who wants to prove himself again. He said it straight. He's here because this defense gives him the chance to be as productive as possible, to finally show what he can do in a system built to unleash him. You could tell in his voice that he's hungry. He's been on good teams before, but this is different. Philly is a contender, and he knows it. He's walking into a locker room full of guys who live and breathe football the same way he does. That's why he called it the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. Not just because he's excited, but because he knows he's finally in a place that matches his passion. Even Michael Carter II mentioned that the vibe in the building feels different from anywhere he's been. Everyone's connected, everyone's talking, and everyone's competing. He said he's learning more every day, and that's what this team thrives on. Nobody comes in here thinking they already have all the answers. You step into this locker room, and you adapt, you listen, and you grow. And maybe that's what makes this stretch of the season so interesting. The Eagles aren't rebuilding. They're reloading. They've got new faces in key spots, but the core of this team, the identity, hasn't changed one bit. It's still about physicality, accountability, and that gritty Philly mindset. You look around and see veterans like Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, guys who have seen everything, now surrounded by young, hungry players ready to prove themselves. That's a perfect storm. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Philadelphia might be on the verge of unleashing one of the most terrifying defensive fronts the NFL has seen in years. Whispers from inside league circles suggest that the Eagles have reached an agreement with veteran edge rusher JADEVEON CLOWNEY, a move that could catapult their already formidable pass rush into elite territory. While nothing has been made official, multiple sources describe the deal as virtually done, pending final contract details and physicals. If the reports hold true, the addition of CLOWNEY would give Philadelphia another weapon in a defense that already features stars like Josh Sweat, Haason Reddick, and rookie phenom Jalen Hurts. The Eagles, long known for prioritizing dominance in the trenches, may have just found the final piece in their defensive puzzle. One anonymous NFC executive reportedly said, "If they add CLOWNEY, good luck keeping your quarterback upright against that front." CLOWNEY, 31, remains one of the league's most feared edge defenders, a relentless disruptor who thrives in chaos. Last season in Baltimore, he recorded 9.5 sacks and consistently wreaked havoc on opposing lines, proving he still has plenty left in the tank. For a Philadelphia team that stumbled defensively down the stretch last year, his arrival could represent not just reinforcements, but a full-blown resurgence. Fans have already begun buzzing online, flooding social media with speculation and mock-ups of CLOWNEY in midnight green. The move, if confirmed, would fit perfectly with general manager Howie Roseman's aggressive approach, the same mindset that has kept the Eagles in perennial Super Bowl contention. Nothing is official yet, but one thing is certain. If JADEVEON CLOWNEY is indeed flying to Philadelphia, every offensive coordinator on their schedule is sleeping a little less soundly tonight. The Birds' pass rush might be about to hit another gear, and the rest of the league has been warned. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.